Somebody sent me these words yesterday from Martin Luther King Jr., which haunt me with renewed force. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. And I think that's true. And therefore, we are all on trial because today, the lives we fail to speak for are those of children, killed not by accident, but by policy, not as tragic collateral, but often as targets, victims of strategy, of spectacle, of silence. Let's begin in Kyiv. The last weekend, particularly, Russia launched the largest air raid in 3 years of war. Nearly 300 drones, 69 missiles, 12 people killed, among them 3 children. These were not combatants, these were not conscripts, they were children, and Ukrainian officials confirmed the attacks hit civilian infrastructure across the country, from Kyiv to Odessa. A dormitory struck, homes destroyed, families obliterated while sheltering underground, children snuffed out as they slept, their final lullaby the sound of sirens and detonation. President Zelensky pleaded for the world, especially the United States, to speak out. The silence of America, he said, only encourages Putin. When children are killed and the world remains diplomatically neutral, we're no longer observers, we are accomplices. And now to Gaza, a place where death no longer knocks politely but walks openly with fire on its breath. On Friday, Israeli airstrikes killed 9 children, all from the same family. The mother, Dr. Ala al-Najjar, was on shift at her hospital saving lives when she received the bodies of her own. This wasn't a statistic. This was a mother, a paediatrician, a healer, watching her entire world, her children, return to her in body bags. We're told there are no military connections, no warnings, no justification. The building was near a petrol station. The family were civilians. The Israeli Defense Forces say they're reviewing the matter, but how many reviews does it take to restore a child? Targeting unarmed civilians is despicable, inhumane, and uncivilized. It's evil. And it's repeatedly happened in both Ukraine and Gaza. Some have asked why I've not spoken earlier about the widely circulated claim that 14,000 babies were at risk of dying within 48 hours in Gaza. The reason is simple. The number may not be accurate. It was a catastrophic miscommunication, born perhaps of good intentions but fumbled. But let's not forget, even one baby threatened is one too many. We must not allow exaggerated statistics to undermine real horror. Severe acute malnutrition is rising. The UN has clarified 14,000 children may face severe hunger over a year if aid doesn't get in. Not in 2 days, but still imminently and dreadfully. That's famine in slow motion. But neither Hamas's propaganda nor Israel's self-righteousness can wash the blood from the hands of those who bomb hospitals or who hide among civilians. Both sides use children as shields, one behind, the other before the blast. There must be moral clarity here. To criticize the Israeli government is not to embrace anti-Semitism. To condemn Russian bombings is not to ignore even the imperfections of Ukraine itself. But to care for Palestinian babies is not to give Hamas a free pass. What I think is important is to speak out when civilians, when children are targeted, wherever that happens, by whomsoever it may be done. We shouldn't be tricked into the arithmetic of dehumanization. We shouldn't reduce tragedy to tally marks. Whether the number is 14,000 or 4, human dignity doesn't depend on the spreadsheet. And Dr. Ala al-Najjar lost 9 of her 10 children. President Zelensky buried more citizens. The parents of Kyiv and Khan Yunis now share something unspeakable. If we fail to speak up, if we let diplomatic caution outweigh moral responsibility, and if we fail to say very clearly that Putin, or whoever stands in for Putin today, and Benjamin Netanyahu are behaving with monstrous recklessness, then we too, if we don't say this, then we too are complicit. So I'm going to say with conviction and sorrow, in the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. And I hope those words will not be our legacy.